Good morning, friends. Rainbow Star here at the Rainbow Sparkle Palace. It is Wednesday, February 21st, and I woke up like this, as Sam Gleason I would say, flawless. And I wanted to give an update on what's been happening. I finished recording my album on Monday, and that was amazing. It was just a really intense, grueling, wonderful, beautiful weekend. We did 4 days and recording for 6 hours a day. And on Monday, I think there were like 8 of my friends that came, and one of their babies, Jacob and Faye, who, you know, the line in Berea, finding friends on every street I roam, it was based on the fact that after I hopped out of Warren May's shop, after he'd been like, you know, we need a new Berea song, we need a Kentucky song, I ran into Jacob on the street, and it was crazy because I hadn't seen him in forever, and he doesn't live here. Well, he does now, but he didn't at that point. And he told me that Faye was pregnant, his wife, and I was just so ecstatic, and that's when that line came to me that evening. So it was really special to have them there. And everyone, there was a woman, Sandy Davis, who lived in this house next to us that was built right before we left, I guess in '92, 3 years before we left, and she came and she brought us gluten-free treats. It was so sweet, and just beautiful to have all my friends there, you know, friends who had come to sing on the recording that we did last year. We tested out a local studio and it didn't work out, but some people came back to try it again, and that was wonderful. And yeah, on Saturday I ended up going and knocking on the door of my childhood home, and spent an hour and a half like touring the house that I grew up in on Pine Valley Drive, which was amazing and also intense and beautiful. And sorry, I'm moving around everywhere. I'm just kind of wanting you to see this space out here. But this experience has been just so beautiful. Like, for much of the weekend I didn't have words, and honestly the first day that we were recording, I felt like I was out of my body for most of the day. It was like just vibrating. Like I said, I felt like a coiled spring that had been plucked, and I was just vibrating back and forth. It was a whole lot, you know. I don't think many of you have heard this story, but when I was 18, I had been playing music that I wrote in church and around, like at school, like talent shows and stuff. And a friend of mine had connections to a recording studio in Cincinnati, and their claim to fame was that they had recorded the Dixie Chicks at some point. And so I was on my way up there to record my album, and I had, you know, 12 tracks that I'd written, and my dad was hit by a drunk driver. Both my parents were in the car, and he was hurt, and not badly, thank God, but at that moment I didn't know how bad it was. So my mother called me from the ambulance, and so I turned around and went, you know, was heading down to Somerset to go be with him. And my father told my mother, no, tell her she has to go. She has to get record, you know, this is her dream. So I turned around and I went and recorded the demo, and he was okay. He lost some eyesight as a result of that accident, but and he had to wear glasses from then on, but he was okay, and recorded the demo and paid $250, wrote a check to the producer that day, and they wanted to like bring in other musicians. I mean, I wasn't a great guitar player. I'm still not a great guitar player by any stretch of the imagination. And they wanted to bring in all kinds of musicians, like redo the songs, which wasn't my big vision, but I was just like, okay, whatever, like, I just want to make music, and like, whatever it takes, like, I don't know any different to say what I actually want. And then they gave me a quote, and it was $3,000. This is in 2004, and I was 18, and $3,000 to produce and cut, I think, like 250 CDs. And I cried, and I didn't know how to raise the money for that, and I guess I just kind of gave up at that point. I had a duo in college, 8-Track Mind, we called ourselves. I played some acoustic guitar, and then my partner played electric guitar, and we did some covers and some originals and played around and got on RFL once, was our big deal that we did. But then that ended up not working out, and like I didn't write music until last year, the beginning of last year, and so that was from like 2005 until 2017, geez. So it was rather a big deal to be recording this weekend. It's a long time coming, and like how often does it happen that you get to have things circle back around so much to be recording your album like on the street that you grew up on, that your father named, that one of the songs is about? Like, it's so beautiful, you know. James Baker Hall and I used to spend time together when I was a late teen. I was like 19, and he was the first photographer, well, one of the first photographers that I let photograph me nude. And so we did several sessions together, and he became kind of like my photography mentor. That's what my degree was in, from UK. And so I would bring him my photos, and we would talk about, you know, all these things and spend time in the dark room, and it was really beautiful. And he always told me that the circles of life get smaller and smaller as you get older, and I mean, it's super true. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I was also maybe wanting to share a bit about the track Ophiuchus, which is probably going to be one of the first tracks, well, definitely going to be one of the first tracks on the record. And it's another one of those funny little stories. So I was seeing someone, and we split, and I was driving back from Danville. I work out in Danville on occasion, and this line just came to me, of someone being their own kind of nightmare, just regarding, like, you know, basically being our own worst enemy, you know, doing things that just shoot ourselves in the foot, of course. And so I came home, and Sam Gleaves had taught me how to do the little finger roll on the dulcimer. I think it was the day before. I was taking lessons from Sam, and I had never known how to, like, pick on the guitar. Like, I played guitar when I was younger, and I never knew how to do that. So Sam taught me the finger roll, and I came home from that session, started writing the song. I was halfway through it, and left to go to a women's circle, a monthly New Moon women's circle that I am part of, and came back and finished the song. And I called my friend who the song was about and told him about it, and he was like, that's really weird, because, you know, one of the lines is, there he goes under the river, running through the field naked, you know, and he said, you know, last night I went skinny dipping in Owsley, which, don't tell anybody, but that's a thing that many of us do a lot. But not in February, for God's sakes. It was precisely a year ago that I wrote that song, and that was just so bizarre. Like, but he had done the very thing that I wrote about in the song the night before, and I didn't know. So that was interesting. And I ended up adding the line "running naked through the forest," which comes in the last chorus. Added that in after realizing that he actually had been running naked through a forest and not a field. So that's very interesting. I thought I wanted to share that with you, and just want to say thank you all so much for your support with the music, and it means everything to me. And spring is here, so let's celebrate. Hope you have a great day.